The next form element that I'm going to add to this document is the checkbox form element, and I'll grab it right here on the toolbar. I could use a text box field for this, but what I want to create is a place where the user could just click. To do that, I'll drag out the checkbox. In the checkbox properties, I'll give it a name, and we'll call it factory order. I'll jump to the tooltip and give it a tooltip. There's one more reason to give a field element a tooltip other than just because you want the user to be able to roll over it and get a little bit of instruction. And that is because when a screen reading device for someone who is vision impaired reads a form to them that's a PDF file, it will read the tooltip to them as the name of the field. That can be very, very helpful for someone who can't see the form to be able to fill it out because they can roll over the form and it will tell them what the form is, or it can read the form to them in the order in the document that it was created so that they can know what that element is designed to do. It makes the form much more friendly to someone who is vision impaired. So there's a couple of good reasons to use a tooltip, and that's why whenever I build form elements, I take the time to build tooltips into them. Even if their purpose seems obvious, I want to be able to help everybody who needs to be able to use this form to do so efficiently. Now I'm going to go over to the appearance for the field, and I'm going to give it a border color. And we haven't given any of our fields border colors yet, but in this case I want there to be a little rectangle that the user can go ahead and click into, and it's just a way of indicating here's a place that you can click. The options for a checkbox are a little bit different than a text box. This isn't a place where you can come in and just type information willy-nilly. It uses a specific format. In this case, I've got the check style chosen, but there are other styles from which to choose. I can make it look like a circle, or a diamond, or a cross. I'm going to leave it check, and if I want the checkbox checked by default, I can turn it on. Now, by turning this on, I give myself another advantage. Notice that I can sort of see the check in there. If I choose a different style now, I can see what the style will look like without having to preview it. It's not a perfect preview because the name of the field is sort of in the way right now, but at least it's a general preview to let myself know what kind of box I'm creating. I'm going to go back to check because I tend to like that. I'll click Close. To preview it and to test it, I'll come over into the preview mode. And when I click, it'll turn off, or when I click, it will turn on. It's basically a toggle field. If I don't want it to be a factory order, I'll click to turn that off. If I do want it to be a factory order, I'll click to turn it on. Now there's one more thing about this field that I want to talk about. So let's go ahead back to the checkbox tool. I'll double click on it. Notice that I'm allowed an export value. In cases where I want to connect this form to some sort of data collection process, the export value allows me to emit specific information based on whether I have this field checked or not. And in this case, it says yes, but I might want to change that to something else. For example, I might want to say factored, which is sort of short for factory orders. This export value is something that I would need to discuss with whoever it is that's going to be receiving this data, and generally that's going to be someone over on the database side of this forms process. But the point is that when I check a box, it means something. I can allow Acrobat through the checkbox properties to emit exactly what I mean. That's a great way to create a form so that someone can simply click in an area, yet indicate a specific value that's to be used later on in a forms process. I'll go ahead and close because I have finished with my checkbox. So one last time, I'll come over to the preview, click just to make sure that it works the way I hope it will, and it does.